I can mail a damn check from Minnesota to the East Coast in 14 days. They should be able to send it one county over or one town over. Welcome to the channel, everyone. If you guys are new here, make sure to check out some of the other videos and hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, smash that like button and let's get right into the video of how to start your snow plowing business. Alright, so a little bit of background. Basically, I've been in a family business where my whole life I've kind of been around the equipment, seen everything, people coming and going, and kind of how everything works with the snow plowing industry. And since I was a little kid, I used to ride around with Dad in the trucks and you know, just spend the night with them out plowing and seeing what it was like, because I loved it and I've loved it my whole life, so that's why I'm doing it today. But basically, the 2015-2016 season was the first year that I was in a truck plowing. I was plowing for my dad, but I was out there in the truck for pretty much the whole time. If I had to get taken out of school because it was my senior year, I would leave school for a little bit where I could and go out and go plowing and help the guys out. So basically, I've been doing it ever since then, every single winter. And this winter is the first year that I've decided to buy my own truck, buy my own equipment, get my own insurance and everything, and pretty much start my own snow plowing business. Dad's, you know, getting sick of it. He's been doing it his whole life. Once you've been doing it this long, I'm sure I'll get sick of it too. But right now I love it and I want to do as much as possible. So I'm gonna go my way a little bit and try to do some of my own stuff. And that's why I've started doing it. Plus, it's also gonna help me get a better understanding, because I've had so many questions from you guys asking, you know, how would you start, or how should you do this or that, or things like that. And the honest answer is I really don't know, because I've never actually started my own business or went out and got my own plowing accounts or had to go through all this stuff, setting up insurance and getting things like that. So a lot of it was I just wanted to know how to do all that and what it's like, so I could walk in those footsteps and kind of show you guys and bring you guys along that whole path and see what it takes to do that. So that's why we started doing this. Basically, let's get into the three most important things that you're gonna have to kind of think about when you're starting this. Basically, that's the cost of your startup, what it's gonna cost to get equipment, insurance, people if you're gonna hire people, and so on and so forth. Then next, you gotta worry about getting the work, how you're gonna get the work, and with that, what type of work you wanna get, commercial, residential, if you wanna just get a bunch of work and sub everything out, which I know a lot of people do, and that's, you know, that's a whole different story. But yeah, how are you gonna get the work? And then basically, how are you gonna do the work? You know, are you gonna sub it out? Are you gonna do it yourself? You need to hire employees, things like that. Billing, how you should bill, things like that. And basically, we're just gonna be talking about and everything in this video. Full disclaimer is basically either what I'm doing or kind of the footsteps I'm taking. This isn't a for sure way to do anything. There's many different ways to do this, but this is what I would recommend doing for someone in my situation and what I have done. With the resources, time, and money I have allotted to myself. So, with that said, because I know there's gonna be 1,000 comments, you're doing it wrong, or you should do this, or you should do that. So, yeah, basically, let's get right into the cost part of it. Things you gotta think about, obviously, is your equipment. Truck, four-wheeler, you know, bobcat, skid loader, whatever you're gonna do. For a piece of equipment, and then, you know, a plow for that, a cage system for your skid loader, you know, a sectional plow, a pusher of some sort, a snow bucket, or you know, your truck plow. Constant phone calls. I tell you what, geez, we're getting a little bit of snow right now, and I'm telling you, everyone's going crazy. I've gotten like 3 phone calls from buddies in the area that snow plow. It's just like, first storm of the year, everyone goes crazy. I love it. I love it. So, what kind of equipment are you going to be running? And you really have to think about what type of work you want to do before you choose your equipment. Because if you're going to be doing huge lots and you want to do big commercial lots, you're going to need a lot different equipment than if you're going to be doing residential driveways and sidewalks. So that's something you have to think about. And myself, when we're talking about the equipment I have and why I purchased it, basically my emphasis was I want to, for the first year, pretty much be a one-man band, and I wanted to optimize the amount of work I could do for one man, with one truck, with one plow, and basically I have to do some shoveling on some of the residential driveways. However, I've got a person that can do that if I don't want to do it, and I can just pay them and take 20% and you know, make a cut and call it a day. So truck was $13,500. The plow was $6,600. So together we got just over $20,000 there basically. So let's get into kind of the insurance side of the cost now. Basically with insurance and everything, it was about $6,000 for my insurance. Now insurance is gonna vary depending on what you're doing and where you're located, how much business you're doing, how much snow plowing you're doing, and what you plan on doing, what kind of equipment you have is a huge part of it. If you've got brand new equipment that costs a lot more, it's gonna cost you a lot more to insure it obviously. $6,000 to kind of break it down a bit. We've got general liability, $1 million, which is a pretty standard policy. And to anyone out there gonna be doing anything similar to what I'm gonna be doing, you know, if you're going out and just doing some driveways and a little of this, a little of that, some shoveling, you could probably get away with less than $1 million. But the second you step foot on a commercial property or you're working with another business, whether you're being a subcontractor or you're working with a developer or something like that, $1 million general liability is either required or the bare minimum I would do, period. So, $1 million in general liability, the equipment, and then we've got a $60,000 rental insurance policy, which means if I rent a piece of equipment, it's covered up to $60,000 worth of value. So pretty much any track loader or skid loader for the most part in the size that I'm going to be renting is covered under my insurance policy. So if I go to rent something, I don't have to pay the insurance at the business. It's all covered with my insurance already, which I'm planning on doing anyways. So we're right around $6,000 for the entire year, which quite frankly in the big realm of things isn't that bad, but it really is a hard pill to swallow when before you even start, before you get your first check, I've got $26,000 invested into equipment, insurance, and that doesn't even count my time or the money I spent marketing to actually get the business. Which brings us to the next part of actually getting the business. Basically, I tried 4 different types of marketing to get the work that I got, and more or less I didn't have time to do any type of sales calls or anything like that because I was working full-time landscaping with my dad out there working on the crews and stuff. So I just didn't have the time to go out and make cold calls and try to get more commercial work, which quite frankly, after what I've learned, is hands down gonna be your best way and almost your only way of getting commercial accounts, is either making cold calls or getting out there and meeting people in the industry that you can connect with and they can recommend you to somebody who has a commercial site to plow or something like that. Or just go to the businesses and ask them, like, can I place a bid on snow plowing your parking lot this year? It's that simple. That's about all you gotta do. So with that said, I tried 4 different strategies of online marketing. 1 was advertising with the YouTube video. 2 was Facebook advertising. 3 was Google ads. And then 4 was 100% organic. All it cost was my time, and that was working on the Nextdoor app. So let's break down what this cost me. Basically, YouTube advertising with a video. Now granted, maybe my video wasn't ideal. It wasn't obviously a professional video. It was something I put together. So it wasn't perfect by any means. But quite frankly, it was a waste of money. I spent $110 on YouTube advertising and got 0 in return. 0. And it was all linked. You'd watch the video, you'd click the link to my website, and the video only played in the areas I was marketing for snow plowing, which is the same areas I marketed with Facebook and Google and pretty much everywhere else that I did marketing. So all those areas were the same throughout every platform. And YouTube, I got 0 leads. Zero sales, zero everything, got nothing from YouTube. How do I know? I asked everyone that called, who recommended you or where did you hear about us? Not a single person said YouTube. So if you're in the industry, YouTube's a waste of time. No, not really. But I would say if you don't have a professional video, and for something as simple as snow plowing, I would say yes, it is a complete waste of time. Your money can be better spent elsewhere. If you're doing high-end landscaping, things like that where you can make a video of it, YouTube probably would be worth a shot if you have a high-end professional photographer or videographer to do the work for you. So next was Facebook. I spent $80 on Facebook advertising. And keep in mind, these are all pretty low numbers to be spending on any type of marketing. This is not a lot of money over the about 2 months, I think it was, 1 month to 2 months that I was doing it. This is not a lot of money at all. Facebook basically got zero from that $80 spent as well. So that was $190 out the window, never gonna get it back. The only value I did get from it was learning what I learned, and that is, if you're gonna do any of those platforms, Facebook's probably better than YouTube. However, for snow plowing, I wouldn't recommend it, and here's why. I think when you're on these platforms trying to market your snow plowing, it's a topic that's so loosely needed per se in residential accounts, because so many people are just gonna shovel their own driveway, and when people are going onto YouTube or going onto Facebook, they're not looking for snow plowing. When you get onto advertising on Google Ads, which is one of the higher results I got out of everything, was basically people are searching for snow plowing, and that's why you come up on Google, because the ad is popping up because they search for a keyword that they need the business for, and that's why they're looking for it. That's why it's probably better to spend your money there for this topic or for this category of business. So with Google Ads, we spent $35, and with that $35, we got 3 leads and 3 sales. Now, spending $35 over 2 months is not a lot of money at all, and we could have spent more, but quite frankly, with some of the commercial stuff we were getting and a lot of the other stuff I was doing at the time, which was the Nextdoor app, I didn't really need to spend any more, because for myself, with the 1 truck and the 1 plow, I was pretty much getting to the point where I have enough work to be good before I need to add more equipment, or it's gonna hurt my quality of work because I can't get to the sites in time. So we got 3 leads from Google Ads and sold all 3 of the jobs. They all worked out perfectly. It worked great, very smooth. So I would highly recommend Google Ads for $35. I got the most leads and the most sales out of it for any paid thing I tried. And then, which brings me next to the Nextdoor app. If you guys aren't familiar with the Nextdoor app, type it into Google, type it into YouTube. You'll find something on it. It'll give you the full rundown on it. I'm not going to waste my time giving you the rundown on it. But basically, the Nextdoor app was great. Organic, all it costs is your time. Got 11 leads off of Nextdoor and sold 9 of those jobs. The other ones, I'm sure I was just too high of a price, and they went with somebody else, which is fine, because quite frankly, I'm definitely not the cheapest guy in town. I know that for a fact. Basically, every lead or every sale that we lost was because we just came in too high of a price or somebody came in lower. So that's fine, because we did get a lot of recommendations off of Nextdoor, and quite frankly, once you get on Nextdoor and somebody else recommends you after they've signed up with you, you're pretty much going to get that sale, and you're going to get the next one that they recommend, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Because I don't know what it is about Nextdoor, but everyone on there takes everything as gold, and they take your word for it, and they trust everyone on there, which is good and can be dangerous and bad too, but it works out very well in your favor, and I would highly recommend it. Another option for you guys getting started in it and kind of getting started and want to get into more commercial work is subcontracting for another company that has already gotten the account. Now, subcontracting I really don't like doing, because it's pretty much going and doing the work at 10 to 20% less than what you could be doing it for if you just went and talked to the right person and got the account in the first place. I think really the only way to truly win and grow a business at subcontracting is if you're the one subcontracting the work out to somebody else, because then you're taking your cut and you don't really have to worry about it. Yeah, that's how I feel about subcontracting. The one benefit to it is if a site requires salting or something like that and you don't have the capabilities to do it, and you're subcontracting for somebody that does, all you're really worrying about is the snow plowing, and they're taking care of the salting or shoveling if it needs shoveling, and that's something else you don't want to do. So it is good for those of you that just want to stay in the plow truck and have less responsibility, and that essentially is what you're getting paid for in subcontracting. But definitely not my go-to for it. I'd like to get my own work. That's just how I run, and that's how I always will. So let's move on to the last step, which is actually going out there and executing the work and then following up with your billing and all that. So executing on the work, in my opinion, because I've been doing this a while, is quite simple, and I just know how to do it. I can look at a parking lot, see where the snow has to go, where it shouldn't go because of access points, mailboxes, signs, drainage ditches, manhole covers, sewer grates, things like that where water needs to run to and you can't have ice and snow plugging it. Or if it's a wetland area or rain garden, something like that, which is required on a lot of sites, snow can't go there. But basically, if you guys want to see how to kind of get a general idea of how to plow a commercial lot, go down to the description. We've got a link in there to, put it right here, this video. Watch that video, and that's going to kind of give you a basic rundown of it because we don't have the time right now to go over all of that. So basically, you got to go do the work, and you do it, and that's pretty much, everyone's going to do it a little bit differently, so that's up to you guys to kind of figure out, or watch the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. But basically, once you're done with the work, you have to bill, or beforehand at the beginning of the season, you have to bill. Now here's how I do it, and here's how I guess I would kind of recommend to anyone to do it because it just makes the most sense to me. And if you guys think you got a better way or you do it a different way, let me know in the comments below because I'm curious to know. Basically, if it's a contract or a per month contract where it's just a keep clean at a flat rate, I bill at the beginning of the month. December 1st, January 1st, February 1st, March 1st. If you guys want to include November and April in that too, or however you want to do it month-wise, include those as well. But I bill at the beginning of the month, the first of the month, and within 14 days, I need to have a check, or I need to have a credit card payment to me, and I need to have the money in hand or in the bank account already. If it's not, I'm not going to be plowing again until I do, and with that, there's going to be late fees, etc., etc. Because you always hear a million stories in snow plowing as to, I'm not getting paid for this, not getting paid for that, and quite frankly, in my opinion, it comes down to either the quality of work you've done or the quality of billing or customer service communication and things like that is really what it comes down to. Now there are a few exceptions to that obviously, which is unfortunate, but that's kind of my opinion on it. Now with that and with these contracts and monthly contracts, you need to have a written up contract, signed, dated and everything with every single person you're working with, whether it's residential, commercial, anything. You should have something in writing, signed, explaining what you're going to do under different circumstances, what the customer can expect from you to keep you in check, and so they're clear as to what you're doing and don't think you're doing any more or any less than what you're actually doing without getting paid for it. And then they know what you expect of them for payment, being paid on time, and things like that, how you're going to be paid. So having something in writing every single time is extremely, extremely important, and that's what I have with everybody. With that, the residential clients, I basically just bill at the end of the month because a lot of them are per time. If it's a per season, we'll do a lump sum at the beginning of the season. You either pay all of it up front or you pay at a monthly rate, same thing as the other ones. Beginning of the month, paid within 14 days. If it's on a per time or per push event, basically we do our month's worth of plowing, whatever it is. So November here we had 2 snow plows, or 1 snow plow, but only 2 different driveways that we did because they were the only 2 that wanted it. It melted off the next day, etc. But basically, December 1st, I'm going to send them a bill, and within 14 days, by December 14th, I either have a check in my hand or I have a bank statement saying they paid, or I'm not snow plowing for them and I'm sending them another bill for interest every single day until I get paid. With that said, everything's going to have exceptions. You're going to have good people, you're going to have bad people that pay on time, people that pay later. Oh, I sent the check, this and that. Quite frankly, I see it as you shouldn't be very lenient with this stuff because quite frankly, you've done the work already. You've already waited a month to bill them on it. You're not sending the bill after every single time it snows, and you're already making this way easier on them. There's no excuse for them not to be able to get a check to you in 14 days. I can mail a damn check from Minnesota to the East Coast in 14 days. They should be able to send it one county over or one town over. So that also brings me to the point of billing after every time it plows. I don't like doing that, and I'm sure customers don't like it because yes, you get your money right away, maybe, but at the same time, you've got so much paperwork you're doing, so many different checks coming in, and so many different things like that. There's just so much going on where I look at it as if I have to pay somebody to do the accounting, and that's how I look at my whole business, is I look at it as what's the most efficient and effective way to do it. Whereas if I had to pay somebody to do it, that's how I'd want them to do it because it's gonna save me money in the long run. I wanna be able to automate the whole business so I can hire somebody to do it and it's as efficient as possible in making me the most money. And doing it at the end of the month makes the most sense because you're not waiting too long where it's the end of the season and you're doing it all at once and they get a $900 bill and they're like, well, there's no snow anymore, we're just not gonna pay. You're doing it at the end of each month. That's 4 to 5 different bills for the year on average, maybe 6. But it's just more simple that way, and the customer appreciates not having to write 10 different checks for the month of January. Just doing it all at once, it makes more sense, and that's why I do it that way. Well, I hope you guys liked the video. That is pretty much it. It's almost impossible for me to be able to stand here and talk to the camera like this. I'm not very good at it, so let me know in the comments below if you liked the video, if it was any good, if there was any helpful information in here. Love to hear from you guys. Let me know what you guys do, billing, what kind of equipment, insurance, things like that. I love to hear all about it. This is a great snow plowing community and community in general we got here on this page. So love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much. Instagram link down below. Follow me on Instagram. We got Snapchat down there, Facebook. Let's connect. Let's talk and let's grow this community, guys. Thanks for watching.
Easy go, no need to fight about it. Easy come, easy go. No stress, I'm good without it. Easy come,